Dear President Sven Arne Hansen, dear President of IAAF, Lord Sebastian Coe, dear President and colleague and friend Patrick Hickey, dear members of European athletics, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great pleasure being with the family of athletics just about 2 months after we were, I guess, all together during these memorable days of the World Championships in Beijing. And I would like to congratulate not only European athletics, you also deserve special congratulations because with a big number of medals you have won. If my people were counting right, it was 49 medals for Europe, which is a remarkable success. But also would like to congratulate IAAF and the entire world of athletics for what was really a resounding success of these World Championships there in Beijing. And in some events you were helped to this success by having the right winners in some of the events, which I think was excellent for the reputation of world athletics. But you did not only have the competition, the events on track and field, you also had the competitions in the rooms, in the meeting rooms with the election of a new president, and this gives me the opportunity to even more congratulations. First of all, of course, to Sebastian Coe for his election as IAAF president, but also to our friend and colleague Sergei Bubka for the way how these two great champions were fighting this competition, and in the way then how they addressed the situation after the election by paying high respect to each other, by showing their determination and their will to work together for the future of athletics. And I think this is really exemplary for such a candidate, for such a presidential campaign. And I will not make reference to other sports organizations in this respect. So thank you and congratulations to the two of you again. In all your endeavors, and President Hansen, whom I, after 6 months and 6 days, can also still congratulate on the elections. I hope you do not yet regret what you did there 6 months before, but I see you in full activity and dynamism, and this is very encouraging that the two great leaders of athletics in Europe and in IAAF have made change part of their program. I think this is very important in different respects. First of all, it shows that the family of athletics has understood that the world is changing, and that athletics cannot fall behind in these changes, but that it has to address the realities of a new, modern, digitalized world, which has other and different requests and demands to a sport and to a sports organization than 5 years ago. And whatever you're undertaking there in change is not, and you yourself should not consider this as being as a critic to the past. It is just adjusting to the modern times. If now you vote, if you go for change, this does not mean that you have been doing something wrong in the past. It just means that you realize that sport and sports organizations have to modernize. And this is, by doing so, then you're aligning yourself there fully with Olympic Agenda 2020 and with the quest for change the IOC undertook with this Olympic Agenda 2020. To ask the question, not just to ourselves, but to the worldwide audience, to ask the question, what do you expect from a modern sport? What do you expect from a modern sports organization? And then to find the right answers to keep our sport, our Olympic sport, and the core Olympic sport of athletics, of keeping the sport and the sport organization relevant for the world and not just for us. So there I can only offer our cooperation from the side of the IOC in doing this. You know that after Rio de Janeiro, according to Olympic Agenda 2020, we will evaluate not only the sports as a block, but that we will evaluate event by event all what has happened in Rio de Janeiro. And of course we will do this evaluation together. We will do it together with IAAF and all our stakeholders. And therefore we are sure that if we are really working closely together, that there we will find many new ideas, that we will find reliable data who show us where improvements are possible with regard to each and every event, be it to the format, be it to the presentation, be it to the participation, you name it, so that then together we can take the necessary decisions and steps to make a step forward into a bright future for athletics and the Olympic Games. There, your vision, President Hansen, is I think is very important in this respect and to leading change. And as I said it in one of my speeches preparing for Olympic Agenda 2020, to lead change for not being changed. This is important because if you don't change at the moment of success, if you wait too long, then you're being changed one day. And then you will not have the influence, not have the power anymore to drive the changes, to lead the change. Then it will be others who will change you and who will change your sport and will change your events. So take this opportunity, which is one, sorry for my friend Shakespeare, Sebastian Coe, what I, in alluding to Shakespeare and Hamlet, I said to change or to be changed, that is the question. It may sound a little bit dramatic, but it indeed reflects a reality. And therefore, thank you, President Hansen, that you are taking this up by really making the effort and having as your program to lead a change. The IOC there is again trying to assist and to help in different forms and with different offers because changing, I think in particular in your sport, may also include that you have a look at your calendar because we all know that the calendar is crucial for the success of a sport. That the calendar is creating the perception of a sport, makes the people better understand what is happening, makes people understanding the value of each competition, and therefore this is crucial. And there, this is up to you to decide upon your calendar, your format. There, we will not dare to give any kind of advice. But what we are offering is that we are trying to better coordinate the calendar of the international federations, first of all, wherever possible among themselves, but then also with a growing number of multi-sports events. Because this is also sometimes a headache for you as a continental federation or international federations, that there the coordination in the calendar is not perfect, and is sometimes then also not taking into consideration, for instance, the Olympic qualification and so on. And we just had an example there with the African Games, the All Africa Games, for instance, where this coordination of the dates did not happen, and then resulting in a lack of cooperation, for not saying confrontation, with the national Olympic committees of Africa, not having them as a qualifier for the Olympic Games, and in this way devaluating the sporting value and so on. So this, I think, is a recent example that their coordination is definitely needed. We are offering this, and we started this cooperation in a meeting which we call the Olympic Summit. That is a meeting between the vice presidents of the IOC, the representatives of the international federations, the NOCs and the athletes, and the presidents of the three biggest NOCs, Russia, China, United States, and the four biggest international federations, IAAF, FINA, Gymnastics, and FIFA. And the fourth edition of this summit will happen tomorrow indeed, and President Sebastian Coe will take part in this meeting for the first time, representing athletics, and there in such a way ensuring the close link between the world of athletics and the Olympic movement at large, and with all the other stakeholders. And there the questions of calendar are also always a very important point on the agenda. Another offer we are making is the Olympic Channel, which will give all sports the opportunity to be relevant 365 days a year, not only during the Olympic Games, not only during your events, but offering as a digital channel the entire world access to all sorts of programs. These can be sports events, as long as these events are not under license of an already existing TV contract. So we will of course not interfere with any existing TV rights contracts any federation may have, even our own. We will follow our TV contracts with our rights holders. There will be no live broadcast of the Olympic Games on this digital channel, because we are respecting our contracts, and of course there we are also respecting any contract any international federation or continental federation or federations may have. But there is still a lot of material there where contracts either do not exist or where it can be in the common interest of the federation and then the goals of the Olympic channel to have a broadcast 2, 3, 4 days after the event, 1 week after the event. And they're an enriched program with background information, with interviews of athletes, with the presentation of organizers, enriched also by programs of the promotion of values of the different sports and so on. So in order to make sure that you keep the interest in your sport and your values alive, and that you are not restricted just to the programs of your great competitions. This is an offer again, and we are happy to invite you, as well as we do invite other international federations. And in individual discussions there, then we determine and decide in which form each international federation, according to their needs, is accepting this kind of invitation. And the response so far in all the discussions we had, I can tell you, is very positive. And we are really making excellent progress there in the preparation for this Olympic channel. I could extend the list of offers for cooperation, but I see already Sebastian very impatient, wanting to make his speech. So I better stop here, maybe with a very short outlook to Rio de Janeiro, because we're all looking forward to this. You all know that this is not easy. It is never easy 1 year before the Olympic Games. Maybe you can report a little bit, Sepp, about this, how nervous we were 1 year before London, and how the world looked like there. So it's also not easy with Rio de Janeiro. You know the political and economical challenges in the country. This does not necessarily help these circumstances. But there, again, with one of the results of Olympic Agenda 2020, a closer cooperation between the IOC and the international federations with regard to the delivery of the Olympic Games. I am very confident that together we can make this, that we will have to work hard every day, that the organizers will have to work hard every day, that when we come for the opening ceremony, that outside the stadium we will have the opportunity to thank quite a few of the workers still personally for what they have been doing and what they are still doing by putting the last brushes of paint there to one or the other facility. But then when we are entering the stadium, when then we are there, then we all will be overwhelmed by the passion, by the hospitality of the Brazilian people, and that we can celebrate great Olympic Games together on the backdrop of this magnificent city, being welcomed by these great people who really know to celebrate and know to celebrate with the world, and that this will also be a great opportunity for the Olympic core sport of athletics to present yourself to the billions of people around the globe who will watch these Olympic Games and will watch the great stars of athletics and of the other sports, and thereby I think we can look forward to these Olympic Games, giving a boost to athletics and giving a boost to Olympism around the world. There, I wish you all the very best in the preparations for Rio. I wish you the very best in leading the change, President Hansen, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of you again, this time not in 2 months' time already, but at the latest in Rio de Janeiro next year. Thank you for inviting me here. Thank you for your warm welcome, and have a very successful meeting. Thank you very much.